Welcome back to another episode of the Adventure Athletes podcast. Now, this week's podcast, I was really looking forward to recording. It is with a returning guest, one of the original guests, actually, one of the first guests we ever had on. And it's Gav, the climbing coach from V Plus Climbing. Gav Long is an absolutely phenomenal coach, and what he's achieved it must be about 2 years since he came on, has been absolutely amazing. His progress has been incredible, and yeah, I love having chats with Gav, both before, after, during the podcast. We had some really good chats about what it means to be a good coach and how to get the best out of your athletes, and his experiences in climbing and coaching. It's a great podcast. I love sitting down with Gav. He's got some really good insights and a really good approach to coaching. So yeah, if that's what you're into, you're going to absolutely love this podcast. Just before we start, here is a quick message from our friends over at Soulmate.
We're Soulmate. Whether you're new to running or an experienced runner, we've got you covered for both road and trail, from shoes to nutrition to running poles and everything in between. Use code ADVENTURE10 both in-store or online for 10% off your order.
And now, enjoy the podcast. What was your call to adventure?
Oh, man. I don't know how to answer that, dude. Yeah.
The way I help describe it,
Yeah.
to give people a bit of context, is I think of it like Lord of the Rings. You've got Frodo living in the Shire, and he's just living his life. He's just I'm just this guy chilling out,
Yeah.
smoking, whatever he was doing. And then it's just Gandalf comes along with this ring, and it's just this one little thing where that moment is just it changed his life instantly.
Yeah.
This ring, it's and it's something that he didn't have to answer the call to adventure. It's well, here's this call. You can either just put the phone down and keep living your life.
Yeah.
Or you can answer the call, and it takes you on this journey, and it changes from your life being one way to your life being another way. And I know you've gone through that anyway. Yeah. So yeah, to get to where you are now, what's that moment that you would say was that cool?
Was the cool one, man. Well, since the podcast, the original one, I would say one thing that has really pushed me to where I am now is mainly being able to fully commit to the coaching scene and just focusing on the coaching scene, on the athletes, and then on the competition scene, the performance. But yeah, that was literally it. It was just more time in the coaching, and that changed everything. Opened loads of doorways, opened loads of different pathways I can go into, and now I'm doing the performance niche competition scene, and coaching in South Wales, Southwest North, and Southwest South. So crazy change. But yeah, I would say that's probably the answer that I'm going to give you.
Yeah.
It really is just more time, more commitment. Rather be more of a passion is now more of a focus, and it's just going heads in and not looking anywhere else, and it's just sticking to it.
Yeah. So what's been the biggest change over the past 2 years then, other than having the time? What's that time really allowed for you?
Oh man, well, it's allowed me to go to more competitions in the climbing scene, so the national comps and regional comps. It's allowed me to get more clients and athletes coming through as well, because I'm always there in those competitions. It's also opened different pathways for me with the GB side and the BMC side with the photography scene, especially for the national and regional competitions. So that's also given me another opportunity. And I would say probably another thing that's different is finding and having athletes find me and helping them progress even further. So I've got loads of different athletes now that are aiming quite high for the GB scene, and pretty pleased with that. Because it makes my life super easy then, and super happy. I was like, oh, cool, okay. You got a good strive and drive to your passion and ambitions. Let's get it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's something that was cool.
Yeah. What have you really achieved in this time as well? Because I find it so hard to keep up with everyone on. You can imagine how many podcasts I've done since I've last seen you, and keeping up with everyone's intense.
Yeah.
So what's been your biggest achievements in this time?
Biggest achievements. Helping my athletes, at least 8 of them, getting into the England squad. So a little context with that is the Welsh athletes also attend the England squad because we don't actually have a Welsh national team. So there's no like cap on how many kids they can take. It's just if you hit certain benchmarks, you get selected, and that's out of your own merit. That's great. So 7 of my athletes got into England squad. 2 of them are in GB reserve squad, so they go to the international scene in the GB youth squad, and they get to participate in the international competitions. And then for my personal goals, I gave myself an aim of being better than I was, obviously, every few months. And now I got to the point where I was like, okay, yeah, I'm actually progressing. I'm learning a lot more new knowledge and information coming in, and I feel like I'm more knowledgeable with the coaching scene. The stuff that I was a bit wary of with my own personal knowledge. And with that commitment, it definitely shows with the athletes taking the knowledge from me as well and how they're succeeding. So watching myself succeed in like understanding a lot more, learning a lot more, seeing them succeed, just that's it. That's the reward. That's the, I will say, the accreditation that I get is seeing them succeed, but it's mainly from their own merit.
Yeah.
And I'm just the catalyst to help them, and that's it. But that's pretty much, nothing else.
That's a sign of a good coach right there.
Ah,
is the fact
cheers,
that
man.
they give the credit to their athletes and they don't take it themselves, because that is what we do. Like, everyone's like, oh, you've got such good athletes, and I'm like, yeah, they're really good athletes. Like, I'm fortunate to be able to have them as my athletes.
I'm fortunate to be part of that journey. I'm fortunate and I'm happy to be, that coach to help them progress. But I would say, even the athletes that I have, even if I wasn't their coach, they got such core values of being an athlete that they will eventually get to where they want to be anyway. I'm just part of that journey with them. I'm pretty chuffed with that. It's really cool.
Yeah, but there's obviously a reason why they're coming to you, because like you said, they're starting to find you now.
Yeah.
So that's a real good sign. If you've got these good athletes.
It's just the cap and the sunglasses, mate. I think that's my go-to dress wear now. I was like, oh, it's Gav. That's Gav from that competition. I've seen him before.
Yeah, you just stand out. That's what it is. You're just like, if I just dress bright enough, people can't help but like notice me.
If I dress with bright colours and I shout all the time, they'll be fine. But no, I think you're right. People's been seeking me out for the coaching scene, which is quite cool. And it feels rewarding because, yes, I got social media, but I'm not marketing or paying for marketing. I'm not paying to get clients. It's, these athletes and these parents seeing me in these competitions or seeing me coach like some of my athletes outside of those kind of scenes and going, they're doing well and they look like they're having fun with this guy, so let me have a chat with him. Pretty much how it all starts most of the time. So pretty happy with everything.
I mean, what sparked this podcast coming back around? Like, I've actually been thinking about it for a while, but what sparked it was I ran with one of your coach's parents.
Athletes' parents. Rob.
Yeah.
That was cool.
And Rob, I was just chatting with Rob, and he had heard me on the radio that morning, and then we was chatting about that, and then chatting about my podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think he was like, Gav, don't you? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, that's my boys' coach.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way, like, small world. And he was like, yeah, my boy's doing really well. Like, he's quite good in the competition scene, isn't he?
Yeah, Derry's doing really well at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we was talking because I was like, I used to be a gymnastics coach. And he was saying, Derry used to do gymnastics, and he was like quite a high level, but he hated it, and he didn't like the coaching and all of that sort of stuff. And then I was like, how's he finding climbing? And then he was like, it's a different world. And he was like, Gav is just amazing with the kids, and he doesn't push them. He's not forcing them to do stuff like you hear of in gymnastics and stuff. He's like, he's just there and he's supportive, and it makes them want to do better, rather than it's like telling them to do better. And like nothing but positive words I've ever heard.
That's
about
always
you,
good to know. That's good feedback. But Derry's doing extremely well at the moment, and it's like I've always seen the potential with him for the years I've been coaching, because I remember I was coaching him when I was working for Boulder's climbing squad for full time, and then I started V+ climbing coaching, and then he's been with me ever since. But I still remember last year he was unsure about competitions, unsure about like going to the nationals and regionals, and I was like, yeah, that's completely fine. I'm not gonna force you to do comps because you don't want to. He's like, well, if I force you to do it, you're gonna hate it, and the last thing I want is people to hate what they do. So then giving him the time and like coaching him gradually, getting stronger and more progressive over time, he started to realize, okay, yeah, I'm starting to do quite well in this now, like training wise, and I'm also doing really well in the like just the climbing centers. Oh, Gav, I feel like doing some competitions. And then instantly when they said it, I was like, all right, this is good. Oh, I knew you would. I knew you would one day say this. I was like, all right, I got all this prepped up. There's all the competitions. If you want to do them, here's the selection. I will be in this and this and this. Let's see which one you want to do. And yeah, we'll go there, with the other V Plus members and all sorts. And so far, he came third in the Irish national competition on lead. And he doesn't lead much, but he came third in that one, which is awesome. That's a national comp from the BMC and Mountaineering Ireland. He went to Scotland doing the Scottish bouldering. That's another national comp, quite a big one. And he came 7th overall. 6 gets to go into the grand finals. And he came, 7th. Just missed out by, like 50 points, which is a zone point. But the reason why he missed out is because he didn't have enough time to try out one of the blocks. But knowing that he got it because after the competition finished, we were able to try it a bit more. And he just got the zone on his first attempt. I was like, oh, that would have got you into the finals. And he was like, it's all good, Gav. My skin's already sore. I was like, yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. Yeah, it's good. Good job, man. It's all right. So, yeah, he got some good results. And then in Sheffield, he did a local comp there. And that was the Climbing Works Youth Cup. 30 boulder problems, all judged. And he came third in this category. And he was having an off day too. He was like, yeah, Gav, I feel really off today. I was like, why is that? Like, yeah, 2 days ago, I decided to do like a long distance run because of PE. I was like, oh man, dude, that's not good. It's like, you shouldn't do something different and like long distance if you got a competition coming up. He was like, yeah. Didn't think about it, and then now my whole body is sore and I feel really exhausted. That's all right. Just do what you can. Even if you're feeling rubbish, do everything that you could. Focus on your effort, and that's it.
Yeah.
And he focused on it, and he still got third. So I was like, all right, pretty chuffed with that. But he's a good kid. He is.
Yeah.
I say kid. He's 17 now. It's like he's getting old, mate. Yeah, it's catching up with me.
So when it comes to like your athletes and getting into the competition scene in climbing, this is going to be quite like new to a lot of people, especially for like youths and stuff. Do you what's your approach with it? Do you cherry pick the competitions, or is it like, let's get you as much experience as you can sort of thing? Because there's like the two different ways you can go.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I will say it depends on the athletes that I have. Okay. So with the athletes that I have, obviously coaching them weekly to sometimes monthly, I can get a gauge on their personality traits, but also their psychological mindset. So some athletes I will cherry pick really selectively on what kind of comps would suit them best. So it's like, if you're more anxious, if you're getting into the comp scene, I would never suggest you do a big national comp, because there's rankings, there's benchmarking, there's selection criteria. You have to hit a certain percentile, and that will get you to the England climbing squad. And I thought, okay, if you're coming into the scene, I won't recommend you those, but I got a whole other list of regional comps and fun competitions. And this is good. It's a good environment because it's less focused on the higher performance side and the pressure of the rankings and benchmarking, and it's just for fun. So I want you to focus on these certain ones, and if you're going for them, I'll be in certain ones, so I'll be supportive. But for certain athletes who are at the area where they understand that they want to do the benchmarking and they understand that they can push themselves and they accept that pressure or that environment, but they're used to it, then they go, okay, cool. These are the national comps. What do you think? The reason why national comps exist is for selections. So you want to do those, we can go for these, or you can go for them. And yeah, it's being selective for each athlete, like being adaptable.
Yeah.
Because if I give someone who's coming into it or has experienced comps before, but not a national comp, and I can clearly tell they might fall under the pressure, or might cause some anxiety or way too high off pressure, like internal pressure built up, then I won't suggest the national stuff. Yeah, it's just too much too soon. So yeah, Yeah, it's a mix. It's a mix, but I would say it's more selective.
Yeah. It sounds like you give your athletes like a lot of sort of freedom in the decisions.
Yeah, so I like to give all athletes and even the non-athletes, so like the team members that I have who aren't going for competitions, just want to strive and get better and progress. I like to give them certain autonomies. So I like to give, options for them that they can take and suggestions. And if they don't want it, that's completely fine. If they want to, then it's great because I got all the knowledge for that too. And then I can share it with them, like the competition scene. But yeah, I like to give athletes the autonomy because it makes them become independent rather than be, let's say, waiting for me to give them all the advice and all the instructions that they need. So I don't like that type of coaching because it doesn't seem like coaching anymore. It seems like you're just giving answers and they become reliant on you in competitions or become reliant on you in training sessions. I was like, no, I like to give a little bit of, not a little bit, but I like to give them a lot of like options to pick. Yeah, so they can have some responsibility as well, no matter what their age group.
Yeah.
Start them young, it gets even better because then they start to understand, okay, I'm not here to impress Gav, I'm here to impress me and how I execute this certain move or how much effort I push into it. And that will eventually get my performance even better. So that's what I like to do with all my athletes.
I find that really interesting because all the coaching theory that I've learned from any sport or any sort of thing is like, right, from this age till this age, like you're in charge. From this age to this age, you start giving them a little bit of freedom, and it's only till they're like 18, 20 where it's like, yeah, now they should be autonomous. And I've always like struggled a bit with that because it's like, but if they haven't done it here, how are they going to know how to do it when they're there?
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of things can change in that time period too. So what I will say, you have some good information there about starting them off with more instruction based. And I think that's technically true. You want to give people instructions and certain demonstrations on how to pull off certain moves in climbing or certain things in like different sports and technical ability. Because it makes sense. If they don't know it, they're gonna need some information behind it. So I tend, especially for my intermediate climbers, to give them that kind of knowledge. It's okay, this is what it should look like, and I want you to try and pull it off. Here's some constraints I'm gonna put on these blocks or this kind of activity and target today. So I like to use the CLA kind of environment where to coach, constraint-led approach. And that's really good because then you give them a task that they have to execute. You then give them an environmental constraint and an internal constraint. So like, for example, the environmental constraint would be, you have to do this on a overhanging wall and I'm going to put no text footholds for you. I want you to figure out how you're going to get to the next handhold with knowing that you can't really use the feet as much. And then the internal aspects would be, okay, now what I'm going to do is try and climb with, let's say, only having to do campusing or knowing how to do flags all the way up this wall, technique-wise. So giving those kind of constraints will actually help them understand how to progress and how to problem solve a lot better because they're problem solving. I'm just giving constraints to them. But yeah, that's how I like to approach the whole coaching scene. Yeah. And it works really well. Like it works well. It's all in different books and it's always been helpful. But yeah, a mix of instruction, mix of like freedom of coaching and giving them suggestions, letting them problem solve. And I think with the climbing scene, it's a lot more different than most sports because it is a lot of problem solving and adapting like to the task at hand.
Yeah.
Because you have no say on how this block is going to be set or this route. You just got to pull it off. You just got to get on it and try and problem solve. And by the time you get onto the wall, I take a step back and go, okay, you figure it out. And then when they get frustrated or get really negative at certain things or like frustrated in their own performance, and it's like, oh, it's fine. But this is the first time you actually pulled this move off, or this is the first time you're actually trying this. So this is still improvement, still progression. And it's just reminding them that little progression and that motivation so they don't burn out and they don't get too frustrated.
How do you sort of manage the emotions of that? Because I know from me as an athlete, I get very like emotionally attached, and when I can't do something, I get extremely frustrated. And I know that's quite common in like climbing as well, like just from what I've seen and experienced. Probably less so than I realised, because like I'm seeing it from my point of view and I know how emotional I get. But like, how do you deal with an athlete's emotions, especially in like these competitions and selection processes and things like that? Like, there must be a lot to deal with.
There is, yeah. So there's a lot of things that I would say coaches in the environment that I'm in has to be quite understanding and knowledgeable when it comes to the psychological mindset and knowing how to approach it correctly to each individual. I would say most athletes, when they can't do something, they're going to be frustrated. And it's then like, okay, giving them that little space to breathe, which is you take a step back as a coach and you just let them deal with something for a few minutes, like just to get a little break from it. Allow them to have that space to settle in. Once they're a little bit more settled, then you have a chat. And I like to have that chat with them where it's talking about or reminding them their strengths or their strengths first and what they've improved on, and then what things that they could improve and get better on. For example, if they're getting frustrated because they can't pull off a certain move, I go, well, you didn't quit, you carried on. Like, that's a great aspect to have as an athlete. That you're being resilient, and that's important. And then they go, yeah, but I wasn't able to pull it off. I'm really frustrated about that. Or I didn't pull off this certain benchmarking or this criteria in this comp. It's like, yeah, it's not the end of the world though. And it's like, you came here, you put yourself in a environment that you're a little bit uncomfortable with, but you were able to progress and actually push past this. You were able to perform at the best effort you can. You want, you focus on the outcome a little bit more, but let's focus on more of the effort and the process behind everything that you just did. And these are the certain things that you could improve on or potentially improve on over time. But this is only the beginning. You got time. And then let's focus on what we can improve on to then get you better for the next set or the next, competition or the next benchmark. And it's making them understand that they shouldn't be too frustrated or pressured in that kind of small environment, and not too much anyway, because then you can realize that they're starting to get burn out or they're going to be demotivated. So it's trying to keep it logical and rational with them and make sure that they, as an athlete, no matter what age they are, understands it too. It's like, okay, if I have a calm figure as a coach or as a parent, if the coach is not there, then I can actually be more settled too. I was like, okay, this is how I should react, or this is how I should be dealing with certain mistakes and failures. And I remind them mistakes and failures are completely normal. If you take mistakes and failures as something that's a negative, you will never be able to progress. But what I'd like to tell them is, take it this way. If you don't make mistakes and you don't fail, how are you going to learn from them? If you keep succeeding, it sounds great. And we all think that the best athletes always just succeed. But we never see the hardships that they have to go through, the sacrifices and the lack of socializing that they have to do in order to focus on training and their performance. We don't see that they struggle at times. They don't get the results that they want. So it's making them understand, how do they approach it? How would you support a friend who's struggling at this moment? And they go, oh, okay, yeah. And I'll be encouraging. I'll give them praises, and I'll make sure to speak to them softly, or I'll, and that's true. I don't see myself doing well because I don't think about how I perform, and I don't remind myself how far I've come. I just focus on the now. And at the now, usually it's, I'm not doing well enough. And it's the job of the coach to remind them that they're doing well, and to remind them, look, think at where you were a few months ago.
Yeah.
This is you would never have done this before, but you clearly progressed to this stage. Yeah. And that's something to be achieved. It's an achievement. You should be really proud of your performance. Can we do better? Yeah, of course we can. Everyone can always do better. I can do better. But it's giving them that praise when they need it. And I think it's easy for people to give themselves self-criticism and self-judgment rather than self-praise or self-encouragement. And that's what really shuts people down. So that's how I approach the whole thing. And then when it comes to like competitions, I usually give them a day or 2 days of break, and then I do a post-comp review with them on like FaceTime or in person. I'm like, okay, look, had a few days taking a break. Let's talk about the comp or the event that we just did. How was it? Certain questions, just to help them break it all down, so it's not bottled in. The emotions are going to be bottled. It's going to be spoken about. It's going to give them that nice environment where they can talk to me and there's no judgment, and I'm not being judgmental. I'm not telling them off. It's just hearing what they have to say, and they go, okay, cool. This is great. How are you feeling? How did it go for you? What things can we improve on? What things can I help you with to improve on? Was there any gaps in the training that you spotted in the competition? Yes, no. If it was yes, then it's like, great, that's good, because now it gives me more information on what we can do. And there's certain things that I miss, and I'm open to that. I'm not the best coach. I'm not a great coach. I'm good at what I do. I do my best at what I do. But it's also helping them realize that it's not just down to you. Like, yes, you put in the hard work too, but it's also I have to put in the hard work, and I have to be analytical in how I approach certain things. So if I'm missing something, that's something I have to work on.
Yeah.
To make you a better athlete. So yeah, it's a long answer, but there we go.
It's a good answer. I think it's very easy as a coaching figure to get too caught up with being like, well, I have to be this perfect role model for them. I have to make sure they're confident in me and not show any of my faults.
Yeah.
Whereas you're very open and just being like, what have I missed?
Yeah.
Like, help me get better.
100%. And I think it's understanding that coaches and athletes do have a relationship. That professional relationship of, I'm a coach, you're the athlete. My job as a coach is to be selfless and give you as much information and advice and suggestions and opinions, and pass down the knowledge that I have to make you a better athlete. Your job is to be selfish. You are the athlete. You sacrifice your time. You focus on you and your performance. You focus on how you're going to progress, your improvements. And if a coach understands that relationship, then it makes the coaching scene a lot easier between them and their athlete, because you completely understand, okay, cool, I got to put aside all my certain ambitions of, like, let's say if I wanted to get a hard climb, or I had projects outside of the coaching world, but more my personal goals when it's not coaching, then I might have to push that to the side to focus on my athletes. And that's something where I think a lot of coaches, especially coming into the new scene, don't really have.
Yeah.
There's a lot of coaches that want to coach, and they have a foundational understanding on being a coach and how to give certain knowledge, advice to certain athletes. But then the setback that a lot of them have is they have a lot of personal ambitions. And that's completely fine, but it's understanding that you do have that, and take that into account. And it's like, well, the athlete comes first. If you focus on the athlete will always progress. And if you focus on making yourself the better coach or a better person with knowledge and intellect, and you start reading a lot more books and all sorts, that will get you a better coach. And it's just understanding that little relationship that you have with the athlete. It's quite important. And the good thing is, I would like to say I have that with my athletes, and hence I'm still doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Which is a nice positive on my side. So yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Great fun. It is great fun. It's a good job.
It is, yeah. It's really good to see that you're still doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, seeing you 2 years ago, and like getting to meet you properly and everything was great, and I could see how passionate you are for it. And there are certain people that you look at and you're like, this is for them.
Yeah.
And like coaching, like you look at you as a coach and you're like, Gav's a coach. Like, you can just see it. Like, you're just, the way that you present yourself and your calm nature and how you deal with people. And I've seen you coaching a couple of times when I've like just popped down to like a climbing centre and stuff. And you can just tell, like, through and through, like, this is your thing. Like you're saying, people have different ambitions. Like, I've known from being in like gymnastics and stuff, there's a lot of gymnasts that are like, I want to stay in gymnastics, so I'm going to coach, but they're not doing it because they want to be a coach. They're doing it because they want to be a gymnast and they want to stay in the sport, and that's all they want to do, and that's fine. But you can tell they're not built for coaching.
No.
They understand the sport.
Yes.
They understand the mechanics, but it's the people side.
Yeah. And the teaching as well is the most important.
Yeah.
Because then I've always had this conversation with some of the coaches and some parents. It's like, it's always great to have ex-athletes wanting to go into coaching. And it's quite important because you get a perspective of a person who's gone through being an athlete and gone through these competitions and benchmarking. However, most athletes are trained to be athletes or coached to be athletes. They're not trained to be coaches. And I think that's the main difference. Yes, athletes or ex-athletes bring in a different aspect, a different perspective. They will definitely understand how an athlete will go through the pressures, anxieties, like going internationals and being in their first international comp, or being in their first national and being in a national comp, and how to cope with that scenario. 100% they're going to have knowledge on that.
Yeah.
And how personally they felt when there was a lack of support in their system, either from parents or from friends, from their coaches. Their perspective is important. But most athletes aren't coaches. And I think that's the one thing that people don't really grasp on. It's like, just because an individual is really good at the sport, it doesn't mean they can really coach or break down their movements, especially if they're being coached in a way where it's more instruction based, rather than being, building their independency and building their problem solving. They were given most of the answers because we just want you to perform. We want you to get gold. We want you to get on the podium. So we're going to give you all the answers. You just perform it. And then those athletes who then become coaches don't have that understanding of, okay, I need to help individuals become independent and help them understand how to problem solve or to adapt and use their intuition, use their instincts when they're climbing.
Yeah.
How do I approach that? I have no idea. I was always an athlete. I was always the one who was given answers by my other coaches. I have no idea how to show it to another person.
Yeah.
Apart from just doing the move. And then you get lots of people just going, yeah, just be strong. Or like, just go up, just go higher, pull harder. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, that's good.
No, I completely relate to that because I keep referring back to gymnastics, but that was like my thing for ages. And people are always like, oh, you must have been a really good gymnast yourself to coach the level that you do. And I was like, I've never done gymnastics.
Yeah.
They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And like, there was sometimes where I was coaching moves that I didn't even know the names of. But I could look at it and I could break it down in my head and be like, okay, so like I can see what you're doing wrong. But like they would be like, oh, so I was just doing like a shinganung, and I was just like, a what? I was like, just get on the pommel and show me what you're doing, and I'm like, okay, cool, like that, yeah, cool, I can break that down.
Yeah.
And the gymnasts, like the older gymnasts, we had like 16, 17, 18-year-olds, and they were like starting to develop into coaches, and then they would be like, oh, he's just doing like this wrong, and I was like, thank you, I needed that bit of technical knowledge. But then I would be like, right, boys, I want you to teach the younger ones something, like teach them how to, like the most frustrating thing was doing a circle on a pommel.
Yeah.
Just getting them like doing one circle. Coaching a kid, their first circle on pommel takes years and it's like the most basic thing. And I was like, right, boys, I want you to coach the little ones to circle on the pommel, and they'll just be like, all right, this is how you do it, and go really technical. And I'm like, these kids don't have a clue what you're on about.
Yeah.
And I was like, just wait. And I'd just sit back and I'd watch them. And then I'd see them coach it and I'd see how frustrated they get. And they're like, why can't they do it? And I'm like, now this is coaching. You're getting why I get so annoyed with you boys now.
Yeah, nothing comes straight away. It takes a lot of breakdown of the movement and the motion, the muscles. Yeah.
But trying to show them that sort of, that it's not just technical.
Yeah.
And getting to, because I could see they wanted to be coaches, but I could see that they didn't really understand what it meant to be a coach. And I was like, there's a lot more. Like, these kids are going to keep trying this move. They're going to keep failing for years.
Yeah.
And they're going to get really frustrated and upset. And you're seeing them for a session and you're getting frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you going to manage them for like a year of being like, right, no, we got to keep trying this one thing.
That's it. Yeah. And it's also down to like their role and us like coaches, so to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And be patient. Like they will put it off one day. And it might take some time. It might not come instantly.
Yeah.
Or like in a few hours. It might take months or even a year. But it's knowing that, their progression, no matter how small it is still progression. And yeah, it's just being really patient with that and waiting for it to happen. But guiding them all the way through so it does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good fun. I do like it, man.
It's a journey coaching, isn't it?
Oh, mate, tell me about it. 10 years. 10 years. Oh.
So with your coaching then, like going into the more elite side of like the teams and the squads
Yes.
and everything. How do you structure training for climbing? Because I've only ever climbed recreationally, and it's very much a case of like, I'm very much into my strength and conditioning anyway,
Yes.
as you know. But when I'm climbing, I'm like, yeah, like I just want to climb.
Yeah, and I think that's fine sometimes. Actually, most of the time is, even I say to my athletes, when you climb more, but you be more selective on how you approach that, it's always going to be progression. You're always going to be better. Like the more you climb, the better you're going to get. It's kind of like running most of the time. Like when you run, or when the more runs you do get better. You know, you start to understand your movements and your motion better. You start to understand how to place your foot on the ground. Your hand-foot coordination is better. You know, if you train on elevation, you get better on elevation. And it's the same thing with climbing. The difficult thing with climbing is that the setters set certain blocks or certain routes that are fixed. You can't change it after. It's just there. So if you can't pull off a certain move, it's going to be quite hard. But what I like to do with like the more elite athletes, so I got one like Mary, for example, and she's extremely strong, 14 years old, really, really capable, aiming for GB team. And she's more than capable of getting there because she's beaten some of the youth GB members and she's not part of GB yet. And it's with her, if I'm training Mary, it's going to be different from how I train certain other athletes or certain other, let's say, competitive climbers. It's personally down to you and how much you can take and your genetics and your biology. So if your recovery rate is, let's say, going to need longer than a certain athlete, I've got to make sure to plan that out on the training plan so you can actually maximize it. You can be more efficient. But if we're talking about, for example, a general training, I would say strength and conditioning is always important. You know, maybe some light weights or pull-up maxes is always quite useful. Build up the upper body strength. If you want to do more climbing is fun. However, if you're only going there just to social, and most people do, and they're just going to the climbing wall, and they're like, oh, I'm going to do some climbing. And then all of a sudden they see his friend, and they chat for like an hour, goes to the cafe for about 30 minutes, and they go, time to climb now. And then by the time they climb, they only do like 10 blocks or something. And they either pick way too hard that they can't get anywhere, and they're not learning anything from it, or they pick way too easy because it's in their comfort level, and it makes them feel good. It's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm going to show my friend I can do this move because I know I can. But that doesn't really help their performance or teach them anything. They're not actually guiding themselves to learn. If anything, it's just solidifying and affirming that they're just good at what they do. Or if they can't do something, okay, I definitely pick something that's way too hard for me. Maybe something I need to think about and just drop the grades a bit. And the other one as well is mobility and flexibility. You know, always do those two things. It's so vital. I don't know why people go like, I don't need to do flexibility or mobility. Just gotta climb hard. It's like, okay. Yeah, it's like, maybe, like for a lot of routes and a lot of outdoor climbing, like old school climbing, you don't need that crazy amount of flexibility. But like we said, when it comes to the elite side in competition, oh, you're going to need some good flexibility and mobility. If you can't do like a basic, let's say, a split that is not even close to the ground, let's say is about 70%, 80% of a split that you can do, that's still good, you know. But if you can't even do 50% of a split, you're probably going to struggle doing the split on when you're on the wall. Or if you don't have good hip mobilization and hip mobility, then you're not going to do a certain drop knee really well. If your body's really weak with the strength conditioning side, then I can't see you grabbing the next move or going for the next hold because it's quite intensive for the upper body and you don't have that ballistic and explosive power. Okay, that's something we've got to work on. But with all the elite athletes and higher athletes that I have, it really does come down to personalized training. So what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what can we build on, how intense can the training be for them, to actually maximize the efficiency. So it is a lot to go through.
Yeah.
But intermediate and lower, climb. Just climb as much as you can. Climb like 4 or 5 days a week if you want to. But yeah, just be more selective on your approach. It's like, okay, this looks interesting. It looks challenging. I'm going to take that on. And then you work on it, you project it, and you go, oh yeah, it's cool. I'm getting close on this. I'm getting close on this like dyno move. I've never done dyno before. But they're getting close on it. And that's where you see the best progression from any intermediate level going to a high level. It's you're challenging yourself against that block or against that route. Yeah, trying not to get too distracted with friends and like going to the cafe for like an hour.
Yeah. With these climbers then, because obviously you've got like a whole team of climbers. Do they often have like training sessions together, or is it all like individualized? Or
A lot of my athletes are independent, so they do one-to-ones with me. A lot of them. So when I first started, it used to be just like a V plus group, so V plus squad. So I have like a 1-to-3 to 1-to-4 ratio, sometimes 1-to-2. And then depends on the personality. If they get along really well, then I can maximize that in the session. It's now got to the point, since the last podcast, getting more athletes in different areas of the UK. So I now have athletes in like Cheltenham, Gloucester, Hereford, Mid Wales. I got people from Southampton, Plymouth, Exeter. It's gotten so broad, Bristol, obviously. But it's gotten so broad where they're all in different squads already. So they're all being trained in a center squad. And it's great because that's really good foundation level and development level. But it gets to a point where you're going to have barriers and obstacles from the facility itself in how they're managed. So a squad, let's say facility squad, would have limitations on how they can actually go and approach their coaching levels or approach a coaching session with a student or their groups, because they're going to have 1-to-5 or 1-to-6 ratio and above. You can't really tailor to individuals. So that's where I come in as an independent coach. And a lot of them now actually don't seek anyone out, but they come to me and they go, oh, this is something I want to work on. This is something I want to progress on. Is that something you can do? And I go, yeah, of course it is. So a lot now is actually one-to-ones, because a lot of those squad facility members don't want a group session. They want individual sessions.
Yeah.
Because they have their weekly group sessions all the time.
Yeah.
So they're
already getting that community elsewhere.
That's it.
So
yeah.
you're just that.
Yeah.
Right, let's focus in on this aspect.
That's it, yeah. And I think it's important to realise that squad facilities and also big squads has its place. You want that social aspect. You want the community aspect. You want to make sure that you can make connections and friends and socialise, and train at the same time, because it'll progress you either way. But then if you really want to focus on something and you want to work on your own progression, then having one-to-ones makes more sense. And I even tell the students that I have, even the ones now, it's like, do you want a group session with this individual in my team? Or would you want to triple up or pair up with this individual? It's like, nah. I'm already from a group, so I want to have it one-to-one.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, fair enough, one-to-one it is. And so that's how it usually works now. There's a lot of independent sessions, which destroys my time every day.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool, I don't have a weekday or I don't have a weekend anymore. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it, so I don't have any issues with that. But yeah.
It's one of those where they say, like, if you do what you love, you'll never be working a day in your life, but you end up working every day of your life.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's mental, mate. Like, think about it. It's not much that I do apart from coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are saying the same about me, because like my weekends are like at events and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I'm just like, I'm always working. Like, this is work for me. Like, turning up to these races and stuff, and like supporting my athletes on the weekends and stuff. I'm like, well, this is work. I love it. I absolutely love it. But it is work.
Yeah.
But it's better than having a normal job.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And it's, we found something that we found something that was a passion, and we've now honed in and focused on it to the point where it's, that flare of that passion is always there, but it doesn't fluctuate anymore. It's always sparked.
Yeah.
And it's now a focus. I was like, well, it's always there. We know it's not going to dim. So let's just keep going forward.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's important. Find a passion, turn it into a focus.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll never be upset about it at all. Like, mate, I'm always smiling. I always love what I do.
Yeah.
And then
you are one of the happiest people I know, to be
oh
fair.
Man, there's times when I'm not happy. But when I think about it, it's like, I can't complain. There's nothing to complain about. Life is good. My students are doing well. Clients are enjoying it. They're progressing. I'm getting better at what I do. I'm pushing my limits and seeing how far I can, learn different knowledge from different sports and different books. Yeah, it's always constantly progressing. Yeah. And it's good. Yeah. Never upset. Yeah. So tackle it, accept it, and just go, you know what? Life is still good.
Yeah.
Not end of the world. Can't complain.
I know last time we spoke, going off of coaching topic now, last time we spoke, you were still like in and out of running.
Yeah.
And I keep telling people this isn't a running podcast, but like knowing that you've run, like
I've got some running.
because I wasn't that into running when I had you on the podcast.
No.
I really wasn't.
And I was into the running
and
side.
you was into running,
Yeah.
and you was trying to talk me into doing more like ultras and trail races.
And now you're
stuff.
really heavily into it.
Yeah, and I'm like deep
addiction,
into
mate.
it.
It's addiction. It's
Yeah,
great.
I'm proper deep into it. So like, what's happened with you in that world? Because I know you was also battling with an injury, I think.
Yeah. Had an ankle injury. That was funny, dude. That was actually just fun messing around. Just jumped off and then just like hit a box, rolled my ankle and just went, that really hurt. And I was out of the game for like 4 months, I would say. It was a long time for recovery.
Yeah.
No, it was longer than that. It was like 12 months. Yeah, it was bad.
That's quite a big difference.
That's a massive
there,
difference. Yeah. No, so I was thinking about a lumbrical muscle injury for my hand. That was 4 months.
Yeah.
That was fine after though. And then the ankle took ages. It's just like,
Because didn't you do, or weren't you gonna do like UTS or something?
yes, I actually took part in the UTS,
Yeah.
Snowdon's like 50 kilometer, but they jumped it up to 55 kilometer like 2 weeks before. Like, that's great. Yeah. That was good fun, man. Like, That was good fun. I was really hoping to finish that one. And the heat was unrelenting. It was bad. There was no clouds. It was no breeze or wind. It was hot. And I only ran in winter. So all my ultras and all my like trail running and mountain running has only been in the winter time. And I love the winter because you can layer up, you can take layers off, you're fine, you're refreshed. Everything is going well, you're enjoying it. You see snow, happy days. And then as soon as I did the UTS in snow, I was like, whoa, this is so different, dude. Like, I'm boiling, I'm sweating buckets. But I didn't finish that one. And I was close to quitting as well. I was like, this is just really hard. And so I was like, just keep going, get to the next checkpoints and just keep going on. And then all of a sudden, from like, I would say half a mile distance, I can see there was an issue because it was really clear. So like next to the top of Snowdon, one of the other participators in the race collapsed. And luckily there was already a few people there, like 2-3 people. I was like, okay, I'll go check and see how they're doing. And that person was not in good shape. Really bad heat stroke and loads of seizures happening. I'm like, oh, this is bad and we need to do something. So helped with the scenario, did what I could with my first aid. Like, we had the foil blankets out, we gave all our excess food, all our excess water, electrolytes, everything that we had we gave to him, and just to help him out. But luckily one of the people who were there was a army medic who was part of the race. He was the main guy helping the scene with his intense knowledge. Another person or another individual who stopped was a nurse, so active nurse. I was like, this is fantastic, isn't it? And then when the guy woke up, we were like, mate, you're in the best scenario out of the worst things that could have happened. Yeah, you got the best outcome. And we had like mountain leaders there. So it took at least 30 minutes for the volunteer wards to come from behind us Snowdon to cross us. And when they got there, they only had like 400 mils of water. I was like, this is not enough for what we need. So yeah, we all ran out of water. We all gave it to him. He was fine at the end. And it took 2 hours for mountain rescue to airlift him out. But before the mountain rescue came, there was another individual who also collapsed, a few hundred meters down where we were. So the nurse had to leave us and go to him. But yeah, that was chaos. That was crazy. It was good fun though, and it was nice to be able to help out and do what I can. But I also had this mindset of going, when I approached the race, I was like, I'm not going to stop for anything. I'm just going to carry on. Even if I feel like quitting, I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to know for everything. And it's like, I paid for it. I'm going to do it. And it was a very selfish thought. But I was like, well, I'm part of the race. I'm a competitor. I want to compete.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw someone here, I was like, all right, what can I do? I was like, what can we do here? What's going on? And it was more rewarding being part of that and building that kind of relationship with the other people who stopped to help out, and obviously the guy who needed the help too. And that was really nice. That was more rewarding than going through the finish line. Is that little interaction that we had for 2 hours was great. My hat blown off by the helicopter was great. Went down the mountain. I was like, I'm just gonna disappear and get my cap. I'm not gonna waste £20. I was like, got my cap, came back. I was like, all right, let's go back to. But by the time the rescue happened, the checkpoint was obviously going to close, and we're like, okay, so checkpoint's closing now. So by the time we get there, the shuttle bus is gonna be gone too. Let's just go back to the finish line then. So we went back to the finish line, and we had to go to the HQ of the UTMB thing, the UTS, and let them know that we were safe and we were the ones who stopped to help, because obviously it was all radioed. And the guy opened the door and went, yeah, thanks for that. That was really good of you guys. Hopefully see you next year. And we were just like, what? It was like, that's it. And he just closed the door. And the rest of us were just there going, man, they didn't even offer water and snacks for us. Like, we gave everything to help the individual. We got no food. We had no water coming down. It was hot. And UTS was really bad about it. Like, really bad. I can openly say that too on here. It was like, it's awful, dude. Because I know on the terms and conditions, it says if another competitor or another person who participates in the race needs help, you should stop and help. I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then when we did it, and we had no offering of drinks or snacks or any help, or there wasn't like, okay, you guys okay? Do you guys need anything? Because it's been hot. Nothing like that at all. Just went, yeah, see you guys in the next race. Sent them at least 6 emails about the whole participation and of the race itself, and then also on this letting them know, look, is there a discount on the next race that we can do? Because I really wanted to continue on this. However, we stopped for more than 2 hours to help. Is there a way where we can get a slight discount on, let's say, the insurance policy that you add on top of the race, or just a little discount on the entry of the race? And they were like, no. I was like, they just went, nope. Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Mate, it is bad. But the worst thing is, I would 100% do the UTS or UTMB again. I was like, that's the thing, it's annoying, and it's
so
frustrating.
many better ultras out there.
I know, but it's like the UTMB is famous for the whole getting the lottery points and then getting to Chamonix. Yeah. So if you want to chase after that, and I had that at the time before the injury, I was like, that's what I wanted. So I was wholeheartedly committed to it. But then after that kind of experience with the UTS and UTMB, I was like, I don't think I can. And I'm much rather type of to go to Run Walk Crawl or Pegasus running. What was the other one that's in Cardiff? I keep forgetting the other one. There is another one that's not Run Walk Crawl.
Is it Limitless?
Limitless is another one. It's another one too.
See, I mostly just do the Pegasus.
Yeah, Pegasus is good though. I can't remember
Pegasus
the others now. That's bad. But I'd much rather recommend those certain ultras instead, because it's well run. It's a lot of volunteers. The community behind it is far better, and it's not a massive organization.
Yeah.
And it's not really corporate. So if you stop to help, they're obviously gonna thank you for it and give something in return. But yeah, UTMB and UTS does not do that. It is bad.
I went to Snowdon 24 the other week, which is now a qualifier for to get the points for UTMB and whatnot. And there was a few medical issues and other things that they had said, and they cancelled the event basically. I managed 1 lap. And they cancelled that early on. And I've got a free entry for next year, so they did do that. But I was just like, the provisions and everything that were in place, I was like, I've seen better aid at a 50k, a local 50k, compared to a big UTMB event. Yeah. I remember I got back after my first lap, and they've got a couple of those water cooler box things. And then they had trays of a couple of bits of fruit, and then there was a metal tray with sweets on.
Oh yeah.
But it was so hot that the sweets had melted together and were stuck to the tray, and I'm just like, this isn't an aid station. No. We're gonna be here for 24 hours. Yeah. If this is the level of aid, I'm fucked.
Oh man, yeah, it's just poor. I think it's just poorly ran. It's upsetting to know that it's so poorly ran as well. You had a bad experience. I had a bad experience. The people who stopped with the rescue or had a bad experience with it. Yeah, it's not great. And I think people are better off just going for like the more locally community ran ultras, or the other organizations that's not a part of the UTMB. But if you want to chase after the lottery points like I do, then you kind of have to just take it and just go for it. I was like, well, I don't like it, but I will do it. Kind of scenario.
So I'm more interested in like trying to find a way to get into like the Barkley Marathon or something like that. Because I feel like there is a place for UTMB and like that. They do seem to be pushing like the elite side of the sport.
Yeah, 100%.
Which I'm all for. I love elite sport. Like is why I do what I do. Is I love elite sport. I love grassroots sports as well. Like, don't get me wrong. I love all level of these sorts of sports. But like, I'm very much into performance and pushing and seeing how far like we can push the human body. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
And I think UTMB helps that really well. But I don't agree with like the sort of morals and ethics and the level of care behind it. So I don't think it's for me as much as I hate that, because I want to be a part of it because it's elite.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. It's man, they got us in a little loop. they got us in a loop, man.
They do.
I didn't know they can get away with it.
So if there's a company come out 100. So they're pushing for like the elite side of 100 milers.
Okay.
And 100k. It's like 100k to like 200 miles currently.
Yeah.
They're that's their bracket, and they're partnering up with people like Pegasus as qualifiers to be like, right, like the winner of this event is going to get flown out to like Brazil. Damn, like free entry, expenses paid for the winner. Top 3 get like free entry for the race, and they're trying to just get the best runners from around the world doing 100 milers plus into this one like championship series sort of thing. So maybe that's the next UTMB, but hopefully they do it better.
That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? That would be awesome. Yeah, it would be nice to have something that replaces UTMB. That would be quite fun.
Yeah.
But at the moment, like personal running, I only do small distance at the moment. Just don't have the time to go for all these ultras or events anymore, because my weekends are always packed.
Yeah, you're
just coaching,
always traveling, to be fair.
Yeah, so. Well, it's either traveling to coach or be traveling to a competition to support or coach there. Or now, so like working with GB Climbing BMC to do the photos with them for the national comps, which is really good fun. But yeah, just weekends are always taken. No free weekends.
Do you find it hard? Because you gotta like find a balance, but
balance? What balance? What is this so-called word?
This is the thing, because like you love doing what you do so much, and like I'm the same. Like I love coaching and I love being there for my athletes, but I also have that ambition myself. Of being
to
an
like
athlete.
Push your limit.
That makes sense. Do you find it hard having to be like, right, that has to take a back seat to focus on the coaching at all?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really strange one. And it's kind of like I said a bit earlier, is the ambitions that I have is to become a much better coach than I am now, or like always striving to be better, and how to be better for not just me but also for the athletes. So yeah, I've never really thought about, is it hard for me to balance it, because this is my life, and I think the coaching scene is what I got myself into to make it into a lifestyle, and because of that, I don't think for me it will be an issue. I think for many people it would be, especially you want to like travel, go on different holidays, or go for your ultra runs. If it's not ultra runs, you might have different sports that you're ambitious about. If you're coaching climbing, you're most likely going to be having ambitions in certain projects that you want to do outdoors or do indoors. For me, it's just my ambition is to be a much better coach than what I am now. So how I'm going to achieve that? Putting in the hours in studying about the coaching scene, elevate my intelligence with obviously more of the PDFs and books that I have, seeking out relationships and networks with different coaches internationally to learn from them, but then also just coaching. Just coach my athletes as much as possible. So yeah, I think that's why to me that's a balance, because it's actually honing my craft and honing the ambitions that I want. my ambitions is not to do an outdoor climb that I project for years, or to really focus on ultra side for my personal gains of my ambitions with the running scene. So no, that was always just a hobby. Other the running side, the ultras, just a hobby. Yeah, but my ambitions is the coaching.
Yeah.
And yeah, coaching all the time just makes it better. And yeah. So I think balance wise, I have it pretty good.
Yeah.
If I was in any kind of relationship, it'll be dire. We going on holiday? Nope. No, this is my holiday. Being in this competition over here with some of my athletes. So that's the holiday I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good fun scenario that I'm in.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing for people to comprehend most times, but for me, it's just normal. It's like, I just don't see it changing.
Yeah, I see both sides, because when I was coaching gymnastics, like that was my ambition. It was like, I just want to be the best gymnastics coach.
Yeah.
Everything else was kind of like to support that. And then, now that I'm not doing that and I've got adventure athletes, I also want to be an adventure athlete. I don't just want to like coach adventure athletes.
Yes.
I'm like, that's my ambition, is I want to like live and breathe it, which I do. But then I do sometimes think like, if I gave up some of my ambitions, I could do a bit better in this aspect, or
that's it.
vice versa. I could give up some of the business to focus on my ambitions a bit more. And it's something I'm like toying with at the moment.
Yeah,
but
and it is tough. But I think once you realize what you really want and you find your calling and you find your pathway and you stick with it, it's only going to be successful. And it was lucky for me to go through a lot of like weird stuff and different jobs, the catering scene for so many years, knowing what burnt out felt like, learning how, like having a physically poor body feels like, and then knowing when to just quit. And then all of a sudden getting into coaching scene, I was like, this is really cool. This is interesting. And then sticking with it, becoming a passion and now a focus is like, this is it. This is my calling. Like coaching, young athletes to even senior athletes, being able to, go with them in their journey and see their success is great. Being able to see how much I'm improving as a coach is also great. And then it just feeds off each other like really well. It just bounces off. So for me, this is my calling, and I can't see it change at all.
Yeah.
I want to get back into catering unless I really have to, but I can't see that happening. But with the coaching scene, I can see how much I can actually improve and how much I can learn from different coaches, like not in just the nation, but internationally too. And that's what gets me excited. I was like, all right, cool. This is good. This is fun. I like it. It's endless.
Yeah.
Absolutely endless pathway.
It's the infinite game.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, and I think it's hard for most people to fully commit to something, because it is hard and it is scary. It's like taking a massive leap. Like you have no idea where it's going to take you. You have no idea if there's like a bottom to this bottomless pit, or like this pit itself. You just don't know until you try it.
Yeah.
And good thing for me, I just got head in first and everything. I was like, okay, head first. I was like, I'm gonna complain after. But this one is, this pathway is fun. Yeah, for me, I can't see it change.
Yeah.
At all. I can only see the athletes get better. I can see different athletes coming in. I can see the potential that I have for myself to improve and constantly improve, because I know I'm gonna hit something where I'll go like, okay, I achieved this now. Okay, that's not enough. I want to keep going. And then what else can I learn, or who else can I learn from?
Yeah.
And being open and accepting of different knowledges and different people coming in to teach me and for me to learn from them.
Yeah.
So it's going well. Yeah.
Good.
I think my work-life balance is balanced.
What's next for you then? What's on the horizon? What can we see from Gav in the next 2 years?
Next year when I come back on the podcast. Oh dear.
It's going to be like a 2-yearly thing now.
Yeah,
like every 2 years, you'll just get a random message from me being like, podcast?
Podcast, yeah. In 2 years' time. Oh man. I definitely see more students getting into the GB squad. So the GB team going international. I potentially see myself going with them to support and see them in those comps, and be able to be there with them whilst they're having their first journey into that kind of scene. Could potentially see myself working with like different international coaches for a bit and learning from them, like doing some workshops. Potentially a Welsh national climbing team, which would be quite cool. But that's quite a hard one because there's a lot of paperwork and there's a lot of like learning about NGOs and CIOs and all sorts, and that's complex. That's out of my depth. So potentially you might be able to get more people involved, and there's already a few involved already, but potentially get people who are very savvy in that aspect, and then putting them along to help us out in setting one up. But also being involved with like GB climbing and BMC a bit more. Not just the coaching side, but maybe probably the photography side a bit more too. So that would be quite fun. But at the moment, I'm just focusing on just doing what I want and just keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah. And clearly it has got to a point where it's good and it's working out well. Especially with some of my students and like the, let's say, opportunities that's open for me. So I can see it going well,
Yeah.
And at the moment, with some of the athletes that I have, for example, like Mary Faulkner and Derry Hassel, like the one that or so, whether it's because of the dad, like they're just wholeheartedly committed to it now.
Yeah.
Like they're hyper focused in it. They just want to keep progressing. They want to keep improving. They constantly have conversations about what they can improve on, and they like to challenge each other, which is quite cute. I like seeing that. Even though Derry's 17 and Mary's 14, it's quite funny. One's really tall, one's really short. But it's seeing that kind of, friendly competition with each other and constantly pushing themselves and challenges. Like, oh, okay, that Derry could do this. Oh, I'm going to do that. And there's like, oh, Mary can do that. I'm going to do this then. And it's nice because they talk with each other and they do, have a good teammate kind of relationship. So it's nice to see that all happen. And it's the same with majority of my athletes too, building that relationship for them, making sure that they can socialize with other competitors in the competition scene. So then they don't feel like they're isolated and feel like everyone's against them. If anything, they'll be like, oh, it's great. I'm talking to this person in this squad or this person in this area and we're competing, but we're all friends. I think that's the most important bit, is making sure the kids understand, yes, it's a competitive scene, but then, you're meant to have fun too. It's meant to be enjoyable. Yeah. If you don't have fun competing and you don't have fun doing these like rankings and benchmarks, don't do it. It makes no sense to push yourself to something you don't enjoy. Yeah. Because you're going to burn out eventually. And I've seen it multiple times with loads of different athletes, over the years. A lot of people get into it. They get pushed either by their parents or they push themselves because they want to impress the parents or impress their coach. I've seen other coaches push their students to that kind of aspect, and it's the kids burn out or the athletes burn out over time. So it's just finding that right balance for them. Yeah, giving them the guidance that they need, giving the support, unconditional support that they need, but then also give them that autonomy of going, I know what I need to do. I know I want this. Yeah. And then everything falls in line as soon as they want it. So I was saying 2 years' time, I can definitely see some of the athletes that I have just fully committing continuously into it and not get burnt out and just enjoy it. Yeah. Just go along with the journey. Just enjoy. That's going to be exciting. Who knows? I might go back to a chef. I don't know. Yeah. I might get burnt out in 2 years' time. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I'll be like, you know what? It's been too much fun. I want to make myself a little bit harder in life again.
Yeah.
Just go back to the
catering. Want to
suffer. Yeah. I want to suffer. I want to do type 2 fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
But it's cool.
Where can people follow along or get in contact?
Oh, contact with me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Instagram is probably the easiest one. So I got my public profile, which is Coach letter N. So Coach N Setter Gav. I got my public coaching account for V+, which is V+ _ climbing _ coaching. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I can give my email. My email's super long though. It's coachgav at v+climbingcoaching.com. Oh, .co.uk. Yeah, that's long. It's long. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. But yeah, Instagram is probably the easiest, and Facebook as well. Like Gavin Long is super easy to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed my profile picture is very recognizable. Yeah, it's just bright colors. I was like, wow, I wear a lot of bright colors. This is very interesting.
It's your marketing. It's like,
Yeah, I
everyone
don't think so,
sees
man.
me.
Yeah. I've been wearing bright colors for a long time. I was like, maybe I should just like dull it down, put some pastel colors on. And you never know, it might work out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how you could reach me.
Awesome.
Or just see me in climbing centers.
Yeah.
I'm always in climbing
Everywhere.
centers. Yeah, everywhere.
This man is everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, so you walk down the street. Is that Gav? That is Gav.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on and having the time to come back on. I know how
Mate.
busy you are. So.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me back again. It was a good thing you went for a run with Rob.
Yeah, it was.
Might have been 3 years, mate. 2 years. Who knows?
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Adventure Athletes podcast. I love recording these. I love sharing this information. I love getting it out there, and I'd love for it to expand and get on even more amazing and exceptional guests doing incredible things. So if there's anyone you want to hear from, please leave a comment or a message to me to give me a hint on who to get on next. I really want to know who you guys want to hear from. But as well as that, we're just trying to expand and hit the 1,000 listeners in a month benchmark. I've wanted this for so long, and we're finally edging up towards that number. But anything that you guys can do to help spread the word of the Adventure Athletes podcast, please do like, share, follow, subscribe, whatever it may be. Give us guest ideas. Just, share the word around. There's a lot I want to do with the podcast. So the more listeners we get, the more chance I'll be able to get to do bigger and better things with the podcast. I don't get paid for any of this. It's just, completely free information, and I want to share it with as many people as possible. So if you guys can help make that happen, please do. But until next time, guys.